since Jackie is new to the group as a guest, Bryce and Rajiv, maybe you guys want to just sort of, introduce yourselves, Jackie, and tell her what you do. And then Jackie will go, and then I'll go, and we'll call it a, short meeting.
Sounds good. So my name is Bryce Wade. I work for a company called Mind of a Marketer. I'm the VP of Sales, also the Google Cowboy. I focus a lot on digital marketing of the organic search variety. We got a couple of really powerful technologies that are pretty unique in the SEO space. One of them, for example, is News SEO, which connects a client website to 400 different news sites every cycle, gives 400 backlinks that are really powerful, does a bunch of content building, does a lot of damage in the space for a variety of reasons. I think I'm going to keep it pretty short today because it's kind of a small, short day. We have a bunch of other.
Who are some of your clients? Like what industries are you focused on typically?
So we run the gambit. So one of our clients is like a investment corporation. So like an investment, not an investment banker, an investment advisor. Yeah. And one of the things that we use this for is to raise the ticker value. So basically, good news about a corporation equates to people wanting to invest in it. So that's one of the strategies that we use for some of our larger clients. Hey, you want good news about your company? And this has the bonus effect of helping your SEO and rank for things that are important to your business.
So is that client an investor relations?
Sort of. They're they do like a mining thing. They wanted to target doctors and veterinarians because that's what a lot of their clients were. So we did some news surrounding that. We also did CTT for them, which is another one of our technologies that are kind of unique. Basically allows you to target people based on physical location with display ads. And the opposite end of that is we can use this for roofing companies. So one of our clients is like a $20 million roofing company, and they became one of the Inc. 5000. So that was an article that we made about them, did really well. And then one of their clients, one of their customers, her husband died. They were going to do a roof. Their husband died. And so instead of them being like, they basically donated a roof. So we made an article about that, spread that around the web, did really well for them as well. So stuff like that. So basically you pick something that's newsworthy, you want to tell people about it. Hey, this is new, cool, exciting, and amazing, or whatever it is. Then we write an article and distribute that to 400 plus news sites. Does really well for SEO and visibility for the company.
What are the price ranges for projects like the roof, as an example? Like,
so that retail starts at 1,500. Wholesale is cheaper, obviously, and you can do it up to 4 times per month. So what happens here? I'll just briefly share my screen. I'll show you.
Hold on.
Let me share it.
Yeah, hold on one sec. Sorry, I gotta open this up a little bit more. Share screen. Advanced. All participants. Go ahead.
So like a typical SEO play is to get you to number 1, right? Our client is Hush City, so you can see them below the ads right there. And so what happens if you do this often enough through this news SEO process, you can actually take over the front page of Google. So these ads, so Hush City is one of our clients, and these ads never used to be here, but because our client basically took over the front page of Google like this. So this is like the map, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 positions on the front page of Google. So this is what happens. They did this like twice a month for I think about 6 months, and they upgraded it. So now they do this once a week, basically to take over as much as possible. And these are just essentially news articles. I'm just going to click on a random one. So essentially, we take a seed article that's on the client website, write a bunch of content from that, and then put it across the network to distribute it. So like you see the backlink right here goes back to their website. So it's really powerful for PR and SEO.
Yeah, the idea is that news is treated differently by
Yeah.
Google than blogs or any other types of posts.
Right.
So duplicating it actually increases its authority versus decreasing its authority.
Very interesting. Definitely. Bryce, I might have some potential clients for you for sure. So I'd love to be in touch.
Sure. I'll drop my contact information here. Let's connect on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Cool.
And the way those technology or Bryce Mind of a Marketer works is they will wholesale those technologies so that you can mark them up.
Oh, interesting. Got it.
If
Okay.
you want
So
to
I-
manage it. I mean, so it's if you're into SEO or if you want to provide that service,
Yeah.
then you can mark it up. If you want to have them do it all, it'll it's more like a referral.
Got it. Got it. Awesome. I see.
Yep. Cool. All right.
You guys do manage your own clients. Like it doesn't have to be a white labeled situation, right? Like I
Yeah.
could refer business to you guys. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, they have some really interesting technology. There's some in search engine marketing as well.
Yeah, it seems really interesting and really impactful. So most
Yeah,
of the time
it's one of our flagships.
Oh, nice. Yeah, most of the time people talk about SEO and I'm like, oh God, here we go again.
Yeah, I mean, this is unique. It takes advantage. I mean, people who are doing SEO, you have to do the basic stuff. There's a pretty broad range of things you need to do. But this goes deep into one particular area and has a pretty incredible impact.
Yeah, I frequently come across brands that may have a name that is similar or the same as something else, but a different industry. So it really impacts what that first page result is, So I could definitely see, using something like this to help search would be great. So.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, and like one of the kind of rules of thumbs of companies, everybody wants to grow, and so the way I kind of explain this is, are you able to be found by your customers, or is one of your competitors being found for that whatever is relevant to your business? So this is a really good way to do a couple things at the same time for all things considered, pretty reasonable price, because it gives you 400 plus backlinks. And like I actually priced it out. So the Hoth, right?
I don't know.
Okay, the Hoth is like one of the bigger SEO providers around, and they use a lot of really shitty backlinks, but they charge at a minimum of $50 to $100 depending on the quality of the backlink. They're all not that high quality, but up to $500 per backlink.
Wow.
So like I priced this out comparatively. This is like tens of thousands of dollars worth of backlinks.
Wow. Wow.
Right. And
really affordable. Yeah.
Right. And from
seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, news organizations. So Rajiv, you want to chime in here?
Sure.
Give a little background.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Jackie. The keyboard actually was the first thing that I saw, and I wasn't sure if that was a Zoom background or an actual keyboard, but then I noticed the guy in the background. I was like, how did she do that? What technology is she using? It's so realistic. It's so realistic.
I'm not that fancy, Rajiv.
Is that I see a keyboard above. Is that over your keyboard or is that his keyboard?
No, there's three synthesizers. Yeah, there's three synthesizers and then a piano over here. So.
Right.
Wow, she takes her keys very, very seriously.
And there's even more. It just like keeps going.
Oh my God. She's keyboarded out. Okay. Yeah, but as far as what I do, so I focus on reputation management and reputation repair. So reputation repair basically is when anyone Googles themselves, and by themselves, I mean their name or their company name or the name of somebody that they care about, like their friend or significant other or business partner or someone like that. And then when they see something on Google that is alarming or disturbing or shocking or any of those adverbs, then that's where we come in and we delete that stuff from Google. And yes, I said it, it's delete, not push down. So we have a product called Bazooka, which deletes stuff from Google. And the most, common question we get asked is, how do you guys do it? Is this hacking? And the short answer is no, it is not hacking, because I'm not a criminal and I don't associate with criminals and I don't want to spend the rest of my life behind bars. So that's the short answer. And well, basically we do this so that like our clients who have, let's say, either they receive a lot of hate online by haters, because there is a bunch of people out there that just are having a bad day, and they just want to like spew hate in people's faces because that's all they know for whatever reason. And we then rescue these businesses from that hate by deleting that stuff so that they can continue to do what they do, which is to serve awesome people like you. And that's the reason why we do what we do. And we work in a very simple way, such that it's a performance guarantee that's time-based. So we'll typically look at a link or a set of links and give a client a quote, and the quote is time-based. So our typical time frame is 60 to 90 days. So we'll say something like, hey, we can get this off in, let's say, 90 days. And what that means is that if the outcome is not delivered by that time frame, on the 91st day, the client has the option of saying, hey, give me my money back, at which point we will. We'll give them a full refund to the extent of whatever links have not been deleted. And this makes it completely risk-free to the client, and and they can then move on with their life after it's been taken care of.
That is amazing. I don't know anyone that needs this right now, but I absolutely want to stay very in close contact with you, because you are very all I'm thinking about is, do you ever listen to the New York Times, The Daily, that podcast?
I do. So we actually reached out to them. There was this
that guy.
episode. There was
Yes.
this episode on kind of like the dark side of reputation repair or reputation management. And they alleged that the few people that they spoke to were hand in glove with the people that were posting all this garbage. So it was like the left hand was posting garbage and the right hand was collecting a lot of money to remove said garbage. So,
Wow.
so that's
Wow.
like, yeah, that's completely unscrupulous and unethical. And
Wow.
yeah, so
That doesn't sound like it was the same podcast or whatever, or piece that you would listen to.
Oh, well, this Daily article, maybe it was the same thing. Maybe
it was.
It was like a 2-part episode, right? Where
Correct.
it was like this
Correct.
guy, basically someone had started, this crazy person that worked for him a long time ago started posting all these terrible things, like that he was a pedophile on the internet. And when you'd search this poor man's name, like all these lies were happening about him. So you're saying that basically he was collecting money on behalf of those articles being posted?
Yeah, like based on their reporting, they did some research and they found that the person who was making all these, like, let's say, fake news websites was like based in India somewhere. And he was like doing both. He was the publisher of those gossip websites or the scandal websites, and he was also posing as the reputation service provider who would remove all those links. So he was creating the problem and then solving the problem. So that's like totally, outrageous.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So they were kind of making it seem like everyone is a scumbag, in this industry. And I reached out to them by saying, hey, let me give you an alternative perspective on this. I haven't heard back yet, so I don't know. Maybe I'll try and reach out to them again to see if they'd be willing to have a conversation. But they seemed like, oh, we're trying to find somebody, but nobody is willing to talk to us. And I don't know, maybe that's just like articulated to kind of create some sort of, frenzy or something. But yeah, we did reach out to them. We haven't heard back.
So interesting. I will tell you, I was like, that article or that podcast put the fear of God in me. I was so scared. I was like Googling my name for like days afterwards.
Yeah, and I'll say that, the kind of stuff that we delete, it's a mix of, yes, bad press, classic bad press, which is like an arrest record, a court record, or some kind of divorce, something,
Sure.
allegations of fraud or embezzlement or whatever. So there's like your standard bad press. But then in addition to that, we've actually deleted links that are like, you have these sites like People Finder and Truth Finder and Redaris, etc., that basically publish a lot of like private information, like your name, your birthday, your address, your how many other marriages you've had, and arrest record, etc., etc. So what was happening is that somebody was, when they Googled them, they were seeing someone that had the same name as them, but that person was a criminal. And then this client lost out on a big job because the company thought that she was a criminal. And then she then reached out, through one of our agency partners, reached out to us, and then we solved it for her like super fast. And then she was then able to salvage the situation and move on with her life.
Wow.
That's a great story.
Wow. That's amazing.
How much does that bazooka usually cost, Rajiv?
It varies. It starts at 2,500 per link, and it kind of goes up depending on, there are basically three factors that contribute to price: recency, quantity, and source. So recency means how recent was the story. Like if it was a 2020 story or 2019 story, then it'll be a little bit harder to take down. So more effort equals more cost. If it was, let's say, 2005 or 2004, then it'll be easier to get off. So, so less complexity, so less price. And then source basically means, where is the story coming from? Is it from Joe Schmo's blog, or is it coming from New York Times? Is it coming from FBI.gov or SEC.gov or things like that? So if it's Joe Schmo's blog, then, that gets covered in the 2,500. If it's New York Times, it'll be probably, 3,000 to 4,000. And if it's FBI.gov, it's probably 12 to 15,000.
Right.
So
you say no to certain clients, I would imagine, right? Like there must be like, I'm picturing, a man that got caught up in the Me Too movement, right? Like, and has thousands of articles. Do they ever come to you and you say, sorry, we're not going to help you?
Yeah. So the thing is, like, I have a nonprofit called Bright Now, which is set up to champion youth empowerment. So anything that endangers the life of a child or a minor is something that I wouldn't touch. So that's definitely an area that's like off limits. Then that's just based on I think a lot of my nonprofit work has been focused on like children education and coaching and mentoring and stuff like that. So that's been like all the nonprofit work I've done since I think 2010 for the last 10 years has been all focused on youth education, youth scholarships, youth coaching, stuff like that. So I sit on like several boards nationally and internationally for youth empowerment. So youth and their education is like a passion area for me. And I, in fact, spoke at the United Nations last year on the role of coaching and technology to solve homelessness. So like it's all about, helping young people either realize themselves or have some sense of clarity and identity. So anything that kind of puts them in harm's way is something that I would absolutely not touch with a 10-foot pole. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So Jackie, you want to give some introduction to Bryce and Rajiv?
Sure. So I'm a musician. I have a band called Ryle. Here, I'll put it in the chat so you guys can check it out at your leisure. But making money in music is very difficult. So I have two different e-commerce businesses. I have Rebuild Girl, which is a project management e-commerce company. So what we do is we work with brands when they're going through large scale migrations. So as an example, Creed Boutique, which is owned by ICP Perfumes, they migrated from a platform called XY Retail to Shopify. So they had never done a migration before. So I worked with them to basically help them find design and development agencies, and then built out a project plan for them to follow. I act as like a liaison between the brand and the design and development agency to get the project done. So that's what Rebuild Girl does. But as Michael had mentioned, I just launched a new design and development agency called Driver Digital. And our focus with Driver Digital is we're taking all of the Rebuild Girl services and applying it to a really high fashion, high luxury design aesthetic, and doing only Shopify and Shopify Plus website design and development projects. We know our strengths and we know our weaknesses, and we're not, positioning ourselves as like one of these like massive tech companies. We want to stay, about under 10 to 15 people, I think is probably the extent that the agency will grow. But we really want to focus completely on, the high end, high luxury brands like the Oscar de la Rentas of the world, the El Roses of the world, brands, that are probably in the 5 million to upwards of 25 million online. I think is probably our sweet spot. Yeah, and thank you, Rajiv. It's funny you found father figure, George Michael's father figure first. Yeah, so that's a bit about my businesses. Good referral partners for me, or just anybody in the fashion and beauty landscape. But we also we're totally open to working with startups. Like we did a site for a new beauty brand as an example. So like we don't shy away from projects that are starting out. What else can I tell you? We're also always looking for developers. So if you ever hear of a contractor developer who's interested mainly in Shopify, that would be a great person for us to meet. So.
Well, we have the king of developers here, Michael
know.
Bendit. So,
I know.
Right.
Michael and I are like in close contact. So for
That's
sure.
good.
He's
Definitely have Shopify. I mean, I have teams as opposed to individual freelancers for the most part. So, the teams tend to be a little more expensive, but I have those that are dual shore teams and offshore teams, so you can save some money there.
Amazing.
So I might as well jump in.
Yeah.
So you all know me, Michael Bendit. My primary business is software development resources, where I represent a bunch of software development teams, including those that do e-commerce, websites, meaning content management systems, and mobile. And then I have a couple of niche teams, one that has some blockchain experience, another one that works big data, and one that actually does something that verges more on design, which is the 3D rendering. I don't know if, I think some of you have seen that.
Yeah, you showed it to me, Michael. It's great.
Right.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, I actually, I'll show you a few more pictures. I just did a presentation, when was it? A few nights ago, to an event, a group that does event management or event production. And I'm going to share my screen. So these are some images, and they're virtual. So this is it looks like a ballroom that is decked out with tables and florals. And of course, you could just change the florals, right? Because it's virtual. And she asked me to do this, or to show what we had done with florals, because they work in the event space. And a lot of what they do is this type of event. But then, here's some more florals. This is obviously a living room or dining room, very high end.
Really beautiful.
Michael?
Yep.
Did I introduce you to Wendy Hugh?
Yeah, I think I think we spoke or I have to follow up, but
So
she and I did speak.
so she's working on like a big project in New York, which is some CBD something,
Mhm.
and it's some sort of super immersive kind of thing. So I think like this stuff, I would kind of like reach out to her again
I'll follow up
because
with her, yeah.
because I'm right now she's in kind of like early stages of conceptualizing what this looks like. So I don't know if she knows that you have this capability or this resources available at like a high quality at affordable prices. So I would kind of reach out to her and kind of let her know about this.
Yeah.
Because I think it would be pretty invaluable for her as she's pitching this to, the client.
Okay. So it's some sort of cannabis like convention or something.
Yeah. And I think it's somewhere in Brooklyn or Madison Square Garden. I don't know exactly where, but she's kind of like sort of up to her eyeballs in it at the moment. So
Yeah, we may have spoken or we may have postponed our call because she was so busy, but yeah, I mean, these things are very inexpensive. Obviously it depends on the complexity. But this is, a mall, exterior. This is I think it was a wedding venue or something.
wow, that's
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
It
So, I
looks
mean,
it looks like a photo.
yeah, it does look like a photo. So these are, a lot of these things they would access from libraries and then compile it, but they always have to, they have to customize it. Certainly, the trees you could quote unquote get out of a library, but things like the layout and the chairs and everything that's very specific to the venue need to be custom built. This is sort of a top
Wow.
view. Yeah, more of
Like
that
to be
same.
invited to all of these weddings.
Yeah, exactly. So they're not always, these are just some venues that.
Wow,
you know,
that looks
some-
sick.
Yeah, I don't know if this was a real place or just an imagined place, but you can see that there's a lot you can do with it.
Wow.
Internal space, retail, restaurants.
Wow,
So,
that's amazing.
yeah, but these are hundreds of dollars as opposed to thousands of dollars. So that's why it's so you get a sense. And they also do products. Let me see if I can bring up products page.
So, Michael, what I would do is I would kind of hit Wendy up on LinkedIn or email, and I would kind of send her a picture of like, one of those convention hall type things and say something like, hey, this is like a mock-up that the service does. Could this be useful for what you're working on? Something like that. So it's kind of like just boom, just hit her over the head. And I think that should get a response.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll have to look back because it's funny because the woman for whom I did this presentation, she has a networking group for event producers and event management people and event planning people. And she said, "Oh, do you know Wendy who?" So she knew her with, you may know her, Amy, not Amy, what's her name? It's
Paula?
No, I would have to get it, but anyway, I'll follow up with Amy.
Oh, Amy Salmon?
I'm sorry, I'll follow up with Wendy who. It's not Amy.
Okay.
I'll follow up with Wendy who.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
So yeah, just one thing. So Jackie, an idea. So we have like, like a whole bunch of members, and I don't know if Michael's told you about the TRN website. So maybe you could check that out because that has like a crazy deep directory of all the agencies that are members. And I would kind of reach out to some of the agencies like Jason Cement. He has an e-commerce agency, but he's focused on his platform that's like a custom platform that operates between Shopify and Magento.
Interesting.
So he may get like a lot of Shopify like requests.
Okay.
And rather than turning them away, he could maybe send them your way,
Yeah,
So,
totally. Yeah, I'm totally down for that. And vice versa. So what is his name again, Rajiv?
Jason Cement.
CIMENT. Yeah, his company is called
Get Visible.
Get Visible.
Get Visible, yeah.
So the way you would find it on the site, here, I could send you the link.
Thank you.
I'll show you how to find it on the site too. So if you have to know the company's name, I am upgrading so that you won't have to do that anymore. So get visible.
I'm putting his LinkedIn in the chat so you can connect to him on LinkedIn.
Oh, thank you.
See, white glove service here at TRN.
I really am feeling like, super connected today.
Yeah, you're in the right place with the right people.
So this is his page. I'm on a small screen today, so. And you could reach him. It has all of his connection information. He's in California.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I
And
will reach out.
Absolutely.
Jackie, where are you based?
In New York.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the city. So
Oh, where in the city?
my husband and I live in the South Bronx, which in Mott Haven. So it's literally like the southeast portion of the Bronx,
So is that the east or the west?
the east side. So if you know where Yankee Stadium is.
Oh yeah, so that's Grand Concourse, right?
So we're even further south of that on the east side.
Oh, nice. So that means
Do you
you're
know
very
that-
close to Manhattan then.
We're very close. Literally, it's like basically a walk across the bridge. You know the iHeartRadio sign, or it used to be the History Channel sign, but now it's the iHeartRadio sign. That is my view. That's the building I look at. So I live right
Nice.
behind there. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I live a little bit further north in the Bronx as well.
Oh, you're
I
Bronx?
didn't know you were in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Oh,
Recently
Rajiv.
moved.
Nice. Where are you?
I'm by the zoo, the Bronx
nice.
Zoo.
It's a
Oh,
nice
very
area.
cool. So
Yeah.
nice. Beautiful up there.
Yeah. It's
You
nice,
guys,
very
you guys
tranquil.
need to connect in person. Also, Rajiv
Yeah.
has, you have your upcoming event, networking event, right? On the 9th?
Yeah, so we've actually kind of like canceled that
No, we have.
for the next thing. Oh, you mean the mixer you're referring to?
Yeah, the in-person
yeah.
on the rooftop. Was that
Yeah.
canceled?
The mixer has been canceled because of new COVID restrictions by the city.
Okay.
But when those start happening again, I'll obviously let everyone know so everyone can come meet IRL.
Yeah.
In real life, exactly.
Yes.
Good. Well, listen, I'm gonna cut out. So thank you all for showing up on a Jewish holiday. And Jackie, come back. Certainly, if you want to be a member of the Trusted Referral Network, it's been free for a while. It will eventually have a dues associated with it, but that probably will. You'll have a 6-month trial once I get the new website up. So
Great.
we
I
got a
would
sense.
absolutely love to join. So
Okay.
Michael, I always love to be in close contact with you, and yeah, that would be great. I'd love to join.
So I'll tell you what to do. I will send you an email, but you could also just, I'll send you an email from my system that will basically be an invite.
Awesome. I'm excited. Thanks.
And
John.
Jackie, let's connect sometime this week.
Yes, Bryce, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thanks for
and-
coming.
Oh yeah,
guys.
just one
What?
last thing before you log off, Michael. I will say, Jackie, like you absolutely must join TRN because just me personally, I've made like a lot of amazing connections, but beyond connections, those have actually translated to like good business. So and we're like a synergistic kind of symbiotic kind of group where we're always about like helping the other person. So
I
just
love it.
like you've seen in real time, I'm like, hey, Michael, did you reach out to so-and-so? Or me asking you, hey, why don't you reach out to so-and-so? So this is just like a small slice of what it's like. So.
And Rajiv by
Totally
himself is
down.
a super connector. So
I can tell. I can tell.
he's a super connector.
Yeah.
All right.
Lovely to meet all of you guys. Thank you so much, Michael.
Thanks so much. Take care.
All right. Have a good day, everybody.
Like.
Bye.